Yeah, I don't want to sit
You don't want
in
to, you don't want
front
to be
of you.
seen. No, you're fine.
Yeah, I don't want to sit in
Yeah,
front of you,
understood.
that's all. So, you know, you have a clear view of the board.
Hello.
Good evening.
Steve, I don't know if Jeffrey contacted you.
He did not. I didn't see anything anyway.
Yeah, but he's running late, so he asked me to sit in. Hey, how are you?
How are you?
Good.
Maybe that's him. I doubt it.
Hi.
Hey, yeah. Well, since we will proceed here. Pretty much just fill that down. All right, I'm going to call the meeting to order. And Kevin, as always, your first item.
Hey, there were two items of interest that appeared at Laws and Rules. One of them came out of the Conservation Advisory Council, that was the open space plan. I think Julie Noble appeared back August 21st or thereabouts, yeah.
She also did a presentation, I think, in June for our caucus, too.
Oh, okay, so you've seen the presentation a couple of times.
Yeah.
Yeah, okay. I think the gist of it is, she was asking that it be adopted as an element of the comprehensive plan. It doesn't, one thing we never did through this, or the consultant never did and the council never did, was we never developed prioritization. So it doesn't, yeah, it isn't like you're pointing a finger at somebody's property and saying that's a, you know, identifiable open space and, open up, a property owner issue. It doesn't do that.
Oh, that was one question that I had heard from somebody on the council about that. If it would,
Yeah.
the plan overlaps with some property, would we be trying to take away people's?
No.
Well,
Yeah.
actually, I've heard that too, about some property, that they were claiming eminent domain because it did overlap.
No, you want to stay so far away from that it's off the table.
But this hasn't come before caucus yet to be adopted yet.
No,
Just a presentation that's
Julie
been
went
made.
to, Julie Noble, I didn't go to Laws and Rules, Julie Noble did the presentation herself, so,
And this, if you don't mind, this,
Yeah.
what she presented and what we passed
Yeah.
was just to start the seeker process of it.
yeah, there is a
So
secret
it's not,
process.
it's not, we didn't vote to move it to adapting it into the comprehensive plan.
Yeah, you can't, you have to go through secret.
Right, so that's where Laws and Rules, what we did
Yeah.
a couple weeks ago, and that's what we will be talking about and voting on for caucus and council.
And I'm gonna guess, because Julie's away, I haven't had an update, that the Conservation Advisory Council would be doing the environmental assessment, the EAF form.
Did she say?
I don't remember anything about that.
I don't think she said.
Somebody's got to do it. Common Council's lead agency, or maybe the CAC is gonna do this, I don't know, I'd have to connect that, backtrack to Julie when she gets back and figure that one out. Since it's not an actual action where there's a development proposal, it's a fairly simple EAF. Even though it might be a full form, it's still not, anywhere comparable to what, you know, the Estonian people next door had to do. Right? It's a much more simple thing. The other thing that I think Julie presented, the laws and rules, was the commercial PACE financing, that's the Property Assessed Clean Energy Program. New York State made changes to it to make it easier for energy developers to get into the program.
Great.
But yeah, well, I think that sounds good. On the flip side, it requires the municipality to adopt new legislation to conform to what the state just did.
Mhm.
So she presented that. I had it here, and I imagine it's posted in laws and rules.
Yeah, we
Yeah.
voted on it and passed that through.
Okay, it's a lot of whereas, yeah.
The one thing that we talked about was just making it more, these only have 2 signatures, making it more well-known.
Yes.
So, you know, and I don't know if that, who would be responsible for that, but it hasn't been utilized much, at least that's what Julie said in the meeting. That was one, not concern necessarily, but just one point that the Laws and Rules Committee made.
That's something I can take back. That was a climate smart Kingston thing. So I would take that back to them. I can do that.
Yeah, because
Yeah.
now this is, I think, the 3rd change, right?
Yeah, it is, since 2016.
Yeah.
Well, the state has made several
Right.
changes. And
Yeah.
every time they do it, the municipality has to do it as well.
And it sounds like it's making it better,
Yeah, but
but
still.
it's only as good as people use it, so.
Exactly. But this one was, I believe, it was the C PACE, which is commercial. There's also an R PACE, which is right for the homeowners, residential. So, yeah, okay, so I'll take that back to the Climate Commission, and, you know, they asked them about outreach. Yeah. There are people that have the capacity to do that. On that commission. So definitely, there's several people that can do that. The other thing that came up at the CAC is we've had, that's the Conservation Council, is we've had feedback on a lot of the street tree work that has to be done. So we've been trying to come up with a coordinated effort on public outreach with the Tree Commission. And I think I left that in Julie's hands and Emily Hauser's hands. Emily Hauser's on she's the vice chair of the Conservation Advisory Council. So that is a work in progress. And let me see if there's anything else here that would be, the state did something else on Climate Smart. There's a Climate Smart silver certification. Julie went on vacation and she's keeping herself busy by preparing and filing with the Climate Smart recertification. Has to be done by August 31st.
Yikes.
Yeah. So she's got to do, I think most of it's done, but there's still a few, it's got to be proofread and all that.
So we already have silver, right? This is just to maintain it?
This is to maintain silver. You have to,
Okay.
Yeah, you have to recertify after a certain period of time. And a certain period of time is August 31 of 19.
Any idea about how much progress you're making toward achieving the next level up?
Yeah, sure. Yeah, we are. We have
Is that
a
goal?
number of actions, and a lot of them are the municipal grants that have been written, like the LED lighting that's happening. I mean, that's an action. That counts. You get points for that. And that would be for all the buildings. I mean, I think we're done here on LED, but there's several other buildings that they're switching over to LED. And there's the street lights. Let me see what else we have. It's quite a list that we go through every month at that commission. I don't know if the Word document is quite a list. We're doing a flood preparedness guide. In fact, I think I was involved with part of that in the early stage as part of the flooding task force. But the Climate Commission is working with, or the Office of Sustainability, which is Julie's office, is working with Melinda Herzog at Cornell Cooperative on that. refrigerants. Now, this is something we're gonna have to get a handle on, because the Freon is being phased out, the R22 Freon. The EPA put a sunset date on that. And there are other refrigerants, but you gotta redo all the compressors, the air handlers. The only thing that stays, a lot of the copper tubing, the only thing that stays in place is the ductwork. So that's something to think about. And we do have somebody that's working on that, a commissioner that works over at Bard, and they're working on that over there. I'm involved in some commercial property, and I'm working on that myself. So there's a few people that are trying to get a handle on that. So that, at some point we may have to write a grant or something, because it could be substantial. They're changing a lot of compressors. That could run into money. They're doing the Green Business Challenge. Oh, and then the zoning recommendations. I'm on the zoning task force, and yeah, we had put a certain amount of the actions from the climate action plan that we're working on as recommendations for the request for proposals for the consultant. And if the open space plan goes through, that will be included in the zoning recommendations as well. The mayor is handling that directly with one of the task force members and Brian Walton, yeah. So that's in the works. The next meeting will be in September on that. And then we have community solar. We have somebody that works at Sun Common, and that person is very knowledgeable and has been trying to get a community solar thing going in Kingston. So I think that covers the, one last thing, and that's the Repair Cafe. Can't forget that. Has anybody actually been to a Repair Cafe?
It was on my list of to do. I got something I want to bring, and I didn't get there last time.
Yeah, no, I went for the first time recently. It was a thing. Yeah, people fix stuff. Yeah, and that's also a climate smart certification item. So yes.
As in Kingston?
Yeah. I think it's going to be at Redeemer Lutheran. It had been at the Clinton Street Methodist. I went to the last one at Clinton Street Methodist, Clinton Avenue Methodist. I'm thinking. Clinton Avenue Methodist. The next one will be at Redeemer Lutheran in Rondout. So, and that's supposed to be October 5th.
Are you going to have like a flyer for it? I usually post that on Facebook.
Yeah, sure. I can do that. Yeah. John Wackman actually he drafts the flyers up. So and he does other repair cafes. And he's a pretty good woodworker. So if you have some carpentry stuff that that isn't too taxing, he shows up and does that sort of thing. Any further questions?
Anybody? Okay, thank you very much, Kevin.
I'll be over there if you need me.
All right. We'll dig you up if we need you.
Okay, thank you.
Thank you.
Okay. Moving on here. The first item is stop signs at Lincoln and Grant Streets.
Can I raise a point?
What?
Can I raise a point before we start talking about some of this stuff?
Go ahead.
So we're developing this procedure for precisely these kind of things. So I'm not sure that it's a great idea for us tonight to be talking about putting in stop signs if we're talking about having the city engineer, city safety officer review these things before they go in. So
Next up, all of these, new procedure with question mark.
Okay.
Looks like we have several.
Can I give an update on that?
The what?
Can I give an update on it?
Yes, please do.
So the reason why it's just taken this long is because of the team that's going to be putting it together didn't coordinate their vacation schedules this summer, and so it's been really hard to just find time. But we do have a meeting September 9th, so that it will then be online, or we'll have all the information that Kyle will be able to get it online. But I also did speak with John yesterday, Schultes, and I know he looked at one, and he got the memo for the one, correct, Steve?
Which one?
The one on 2D regarding the Kingston Point Rail Trail.
Yeah.
Yes.
Oh, because that one was timely, so he did do a memo for that, and when I spoke with him yesterday, he said he was gonna start working on 2B, the stop sign at Winchell and South Wall Street, because Bill had reached out to him personally to ask.
Yeah.
And he said he'd definitely be able to look at these, he just didn't have the time to do it all
Okay.
before tonight.
Yeah, actually, Bill called me this afternoon to see, because he thought he wasn't going to have it tonight. So he is asking that if we are so moved, to pass this through committee pending the okay. Or the input.
So yeah, I just know John was looking at that one first,
Okay.
but he was planning on getting to this. It's
Does he
just-
think it will be done before our next meeting? Our
I,
regular?
well, when I talked to him yesterday, he was hoping it would be done tonight, so if it wasn't done, I would think giving a few days, but I don't want to speak for him
Okay.
and make promises.
All
But we
right.
could always then decide to table it if we don't have it, so,
Yeah, I mean, this situation's been like this as long as I can remember,
right.
so I don't think it's going to change in the
Well,
next couple of weeks.
but it will change eventually, we just
Well,
have to get the system
hopefully.
up and
But I
running.
mean, time is not of the essence here.
Yeah, I don't think so,
No.
so.
And in terms of enforceability, we've adopted a policy, and if you don't follow the policy, I'm gonna have some real problems enforcing any tickets that are issued in accordance with any, change that you make.
Yeah. So, I mean, so our option, we can table it, or we can move it through, hoping paperwork will be done before the meeting. We have a quick meeting before caucus, or we can just, I don't see a problem with tabling it.
Table.
I mean, I don't really,
Uh,
it's been like this for 50 years at least, so I don't see a problem. What do you guys think?
For the stop signs, so 2A and 2B specifically, or everything?
Well, we can go through item by item.
Okay.
There might be something on here that, we could act upon. I mean, I have some of them earmarked that I think we'll probably table them, because we don't have the new procedure. So, shall we table? I mean, that seemed like the best.
Yep, so what are we tabling?
2A and 2B, for
2B,
sure.
stop sign, Winchell and Wall Street.
Well, what about Lincoln
That's-
and Grant?
Lincoln and Grant were table that.
Okay, yeah, actually, we didn't even finish that. So, we should table that. We should table all of these, my opinion, that has to do with traffic signage to get the new procedure.
Well, the 2D, we do have the memo from John, which he used as a substitute
Right.
for
Yeah.
that.
Yeah.
So,
Right, the rail trail.
Yeah.
yeah,
I mean,
and
unless we have it in the packet, if it's just a request, I think we should table.
Well, what about some of the ones though, I think the stop signs it's going to be a larger analysis than something like a handicap
Well,
sign.
handicap, I think we agree we don't have to do the handicap, so we can, right?
well, I
Or are
would,
we?
they're not quite as simple as they seem, because, so for instance, the one on Van Buren Street, if you look at the city
Wow.
code, that is an alternate side street parking.
No, it's
Right.
not.
According to the city code, it is.
I live on Van Buren and Prospect. They park on both sides of the street.
Okay, but according to the city code.
Illegally.
Yeah, illegally, that, I know.
It's been like that. I've been there for 20 years,
I'm sure you're right.
and it's been like that. So what do we do about that now?
Someone has to send a communication asking you to change it. If that's the desire of the council, you can repeal the legislation that's currently in the code, but nobody has done that.
Probably because if you did do it, you would have nowhere to park up there. I mean, where would...
No, repeal the no parking. So
Well,
even
that's
though
what
you
we
don't-
have to, so we have to send in the communication to repeal that code.
To repeal that section of the code, making it alternate side of the street parking. And then it goes to committee, and then the committee sends that request to John Schulteis, who will make a recommendation with regard to the request and determine whether it has to be alternate side of the street parking because of emergency services or because of the width of the street or because other concerns that you know, the Department of Public Works has, or the police department has, and then we follow the process that we've developed and adopted.
But it may be possible, but there's just one side of the street that's parking versus two. That may be a compromise, because right now it's, you can park on, wait, no.
The only
So-
time it's alternate parking up there is when there's a
It's in
snow
the front.
emergency. Or when it snowed, then you get the notices that you only can park on one side of the street. But for as long as I've been there, there's been, I mean, some people up there have 6 cars to one residence. So,
But the problem
Wow,
is
that's a
just
lot.
that
it is a lot. I just found that out
The
yesterday.
problem is the signs don't match the code.
There's no signs,
Right, the lack of
only
signs.
the emergency.
The lack of signs don't match the code.
The
but-
parking doesn't match the code.
Well, the no signs, the lack of signs don't match the code. So you either put up the signs or you change the code.
So, and it's a one-way street, so why would it be alternate side anyway?
For plowing purposes.
Right, but we get the notices for that when plowing. Well, we have alternate, when there's a snow emergency or when the plows need to go through, we will get a notice saying that you only can park on one side or you gotta move your cars.
But that's
But-
that policy, the snow emergency policy is only 2 years old. So it's probably just because before this is what they had to do for the plowing. And now 2 years ago we changed the snow plowing rules. So it's probably just, it didn't, you know what I mean? Does that make sense?
At some point,
Nothing that the city does
a
makes sense.
predecessor to this group determined that it should be alternate side of the street parking. They voted on it, went through council, the council adopted it. I don't know why they did that, I wasn't there at the time, okay, but there is legislation in effect that it is alternate side of the street parking. And until that legislation is changed, legally, it's alternate side of the street parking.
So can you send in a communication asking to remove that from the code?
Yeah?
Okay.
All right, why don't we back up for a second here? Since tonight's agenda is almost entirely parking signage, and related items, which none of them are following the new procedure we have in place.
Does that go for old business as well?
You
Resolutions that have already been passed?
want to be specific with that?
Well, I mean, under old business, we have some, no parking. I saw a resolution in here to amend the parking for Van Dusen Street.
Yeah, why, I can't remember offhand why we tabled that.
Because there was, I think that too was one of the codes that was not being enforced, and there was no signage up there.
Yeah, there's, on the code, it says no parking on the south side of the street.
Right.
But there aren't any signs, is that correct?
Well, I think there may have been, or someone maybe had told me there might be a sign like off the street and like the backyard of, or a vacant lot or something like that, but there were no clear signs.
Okay, but if memory serves me correctly, we tabled this because we wanted to use the new procedure for something like this too.
Right,
Because
but-
it's a unique situation. My feeling as
But
I'm
I
listening
think
to
I-
all this, we probably should use the new procedure for everything, even handicap parking. Would
Well,
you say
that's-
that's a fair
Yeah, that's-
evaluation?
that's-
Otherwise, we're still relying on our
Right, because
judgment.
we don't, I mean, just
Right.
because it looks simple, doesn't mean it's simple.
Right, okay. I think we, just to cover ourselves, we should refer everything, and we're presuming we're gonna have the new,
Yeah, it'll be set in place.
by next month anyway, right?
But the other thing is, I mean, Bill attempted to do it, he just, I don't know what happened.
Right.
But, you know, you could go to John until that
Okay.
procedure is and just,
Well, long story short, we don't have the information anyway, so.
we
even
do for 2D. Are
Yeah,
you looking for the heritage area? It should, I think it's in Chambers. Yep.
even if Bill had the best of intentions, we still don't have the information here.
Right,
So-
but 2D we do.
Okay, so,
How did we get that one so quickly and not these others?
I think the only thing on here, really, we can act on is the Kingston Rail Trail signage, right? I think that's the only one What
The
other one?
3C, the no parking request.
Which
So
one?
3C as part of old
3C.
business. That is actually already, I don't know how it got on the agenda, but that's actually done. It's complete,
Yeah,
it's finished.
I,
We still have in our office this old business.
Really? Yeah, I called Tony to ask because I saw that it was from April and he drove by the signs, because there is actually, the signs he wanted were 19 feet, so they didn't even need a resolution.
Oh, well,
So that's
they-
probably-
Nobody
Yeah.
told us that.
Right, so
Alright.
that's probably what happened. It didn't need
They have to
legislation.
communicate with the clerk's office, so we
Yeah.
know not to.
that's gotta be 3 months ago at least.
That was in
Yeah.
April,
Yeah.
yeah, but
And it kept getting
DPW
tabled
yeah.
each month.
yeah, and it's, so it doesn't actually need legislation.
Okay, so we can
DPW
take
did it
that
because
off.
it's 19
Okay,
feet from the
So we
corner.
can strike that.
I
All right.
thought 3E was done
Now, how did-
already too.
How did
No?
we leave this with the procedure? This is gonna be the,
They told me
the
that.
alderman's responsibility to do this, the new paperwork, right? That's how we left that, right? Since they
Yes.
have all the information readily available to themselves,
Mhm.
including their request and, all right?
The
So-
alderman drives it.
Right,
I
okay.
believe the discussion was that that other people can do
Can.
it. That it's
Well,
going to be set up so
right.
that it can be submitted through, other departments or even through individuals, but that the fail-safe basically was the alderman.
Plan A is the alderman.
And I believe he was supposed to be CC'd with, copies of, correct me if I'm wrong. I don't-
Yeah, so so say I have a request from a constituent, I can go plug it in. But if a constituent just wants to go either through DPW or the
Right.
mayor's office or just fill it in themselves,
They can
but
do it
everybody would
themselves.
be alerted.
Right.
So the council president, the clerk's office, John, engineering, DPW, right? And whoever, whichever alderman is in that
Right.
ward.
And I think Kyle is still figuring out exactly how he would develop the form so that it's accessible to all of these different potential
Okay.
scenarios.
Do we have the chair of the safety committee on that distribution list?
We can,
We probably should.
that makes sense.
Right. Okay. So, does anybody have a problem with tabling all of these?
When you say all of them,
All
you
of
mean-
them, except we're gonna look at 2D, the rail trail signage. But I think
3D.
Everything else,
Well, 3D is a memorializing resolution about the
3D,
plan.
and that. Yeah.
3F is about the
I'm
25.
talking strictly, signage.
So
Uh-huh.
that includes 3A then, 3B,
Well,
3C,
We can go up to new business first.
all right,
So number 1 will be tabled, or 2A will be tabled.
right,
2B will be tabled. 2C will be tabled.
right.
2D we're gonna look at right now. Moving
Okay.
on to old business, 3A will be tabled.
Right,
3B will be tabled. 3C is off the agenda.
Is that, do you need an official, you got it, okay, thank you.
It's done.
Okay. All right.
why is 3C off?
It's
Which one?
taken care of.
It's been done already.
Yeah, we did that already. The sign is already up. 3E will be tabled. Is everybody good with that?
Yes.
Okay, meeting adjourned.
And if it's not set up, once I have the meeting, if it's not set up, I'll inform everybody who has the communication so that you could then reach out to John, so that I don't have to reach out to John for every single one
Okay.
since I'm not.
Yeah. Yeah, I mean, I don't see anything here that, is an emergency that we, have to get done, so hopefully, the forms will be done. All right? Did you get all that, Dee?
I got it.
All right,
It'll all go back in my folder under old business.
all right. Well, just hang on that folder. All right, so, shall we move to 2D? which is the Kingston Point Rail Trail.
From the mayor.
From the mayor. And I guess time is of the essence with this because they're planning on having the opening on, I forget,
Week,
first,
2 weeks,
first date.
soon.
Yeah.
September 6th.
I think it looks like a fine recommendation.
Oh,
John.
man, that's what we like to hear. If you say it, and
Is there a
we're good.
committee report?
Okay, does anybody have any I think this is pretty straightforward. We don't want Kingston Rail Trail blocked. So, we would think common sense would prevail, but you'd never know, huh? Well, actually, I'm just gonna say, resolution to add no parking signs as per the attached communication.
Yeah. From the mayor.
Okay.
And supported by the city engineer. Memo.
Right. No offense, John, but you're looking how you spell your name. Okay, so, committee reports, resolution to add no parking signs as per the attached communication from Mayor Noble and supported by city engineer John Schultius.
Motion.
Second?
All in favor?
Aye.
Anyone opposed? Okay.
Would you like us to sign it?
I would, I'm gonna
Oh,
stick
okay.
these right
All
to
right,
it so they
all
don't get lost.
Yeah.
Thank you for checking on me.
As one who occasionally forgets these things.
Yeah. Okay. All right, so that takes care of new business, old business. The only other business is the memorializing resolution. Has anybody come to any decision whether we want to act on that or pass on that?
I'm opposed to it. I don't know how the rest of you feel.
On what grounds?
I'm opposed to it because a number of reasons. I, Warren, at least as much as the rest of you are, I'm very much in favor of renewable energy. I've taught courses on this in the engineering department at SUNY New Paltz, where we talk about fundamentals and also limitations. I myself have solar panels on my house for 5 years. This is most definitely the direction we have to go in. There's no doubt about that. But there's a danger in moving too quickly. I remember having lunch with an associate director of the National Renewable Energy Lab in Golden, Colorado, who stated one of his concerns was people want to move too fast on this. You can't eliminate fossil fuels too quickly. There was an article in the Freeman today that the Central Hudson is proudly announced, and rightly so, that we're now at a level of 100 megawatts of solar energy in the Hudson Valley. That's great, and I'm part of it. I'm glad to be part of it. But that's 100 megawatts only when the sun shines and during the day, as opposed to a nuclear plant which provides 2,000 megawatts day in and day out, 24/7. We're not there yet. The infrastructure for this plant is already there. I think it's false economy to kill this thing, because at some point we may need this. We need a combination of renewable energy and a combination of solar, fossil fuels for a long time to come. You know, we all got here in cars. We all heat our houses, probably with natural gas or oil. It's going to be with us for a long time, and if we can't move, we ought to move in that direction. I more than anyone support it. There's a conference at SUNY New Paltz in about a week or so on climate, but it's mostly on topical things in there are renewable energy. I hope to be there. We have to move in that direction, but you can't go too fast. We just can't go killing off fossil fuel facilities that already exist. This is not something that has to be built. It's there, and I think we need this in reserve. So I'm not being so quick to kill it. So I will, if this comes to a vote, I will vote against it. And I urge the rest of you to also vote that way, or at least abstain maybe.
Okay. Well, I guess the question is, I don't know if everybody wants to discuss further, or does somebody want to make a motion? Or do we want further discussion? My only negative point is, it's really, I think it's up to Orange County to decide that issue. I don't know that, we should be stepping in here, even though it's only a memorializing resolution. I think this is something they're going to have to deal with. It is going to be a lot of revenue for their district. There's going to be jobs. There's going to be a lot there.
On the other hand, when you produce greenhouse gases, that's not something that's locatable to within a single county. And you've got two issues here that go beyond Orange County. One is that production of the greenhouse gases from the fracked power plant, a power plant that's powered by fracked gas. The other thing is you have to deliver that fracked gas. So that does two things. One, you've got this problem of transporting this stuff a long distance. And the other is you've got the problem of having to collect it. And since we don't allow fracking in New York State, that means it's coming from other states. It's going to require, a very large amount of infrastructure that goes way beyond Orange County. So I myself would be in favor of supporting a memorializing resolution like this.
Yeah, I agree with Bernie. And, especially with the Amazon, literally, the world is burning. I think, Doug, you may be right, but I have a hard time not taking big steps.
Yeah, I mean, I certainly don't disagree with that. I mean, you know, ultimately, it's gonna be up to them to decide, no matter
Right.
what we do tonight. But, you know, we can certainly make our voices heard that we are not in agreement with it.
Why do we have to vote on this?
Well,
Why do we have to vote on this?
we don't have to. If nobody makes a motion, then we're not voting on it. If somebody makes a motion, we have to vote.
Well, if somebody seconds the motion.
Well,
If
if
somebody
somebody,
seconds
if
it.
somebody seconds it. Very good point, sir.
Well, I'm willing to move that we adopt this memorializing resolution.
And I'll make a second.
Okay. Let me find There it is. You know, I had one written out last month, and I got rid of it. Just, we have to decide how wordy we want to be with that. I would say memorialize, I mean, I would keep it simple myself. I would say memorialize resolution urging Dance Camera LLC.
Refer to the attached document.
Well,
You could just refer to the attached document.
Just say adopt attached memorializing resolution.
and which one do we want to use? I got like 6 of them here.
Is there one that says Kingston?
One for New Paltz,
Yeah, we have
Newburgh.
templates, but we don't have one that says the city of Kingston, so we can't say that we're adopting it.
No,
from-
yeah, we would have to, any of them we would have to change slightly. I mean, I like this one from Monajo Green, and, Dutch County Legislator, Newport's council member, Newport's supervisor. I think it sums it up pretty well. You guys see that one?
Yep,
Stop the dangerous frac.
What page is that?
19 and
There's
20.
19 on here. That's an old number.
But that's a letter, that's not a resolution.
I think it's okay.
We can,
You just don't,
well,
Don't say
they're
adopt
gonna
a
make a
resolution.
resolution out of it anyway. They're not just gonna take somebody else's resolution and copy it. It'll be made into a resolution.
but on your report, just don't use the word resolution. You can just refer to this letter.
Well, we would have to,
Because we have to make
we
our
would have
own
to strike their
resolution.
names and.
Would you like me to call Dan
Right.
back in here?
What?
Would you like me to call Dan back in here to find out, or you feel, I'm just wondering, because he told me to text if there's any questions.
Yeah, fine.
That's him speaking.
And we can actually, it's okay with me to table the 25 mile an hour request, the last item,
Yeah, okay.
because
Because we sent it back.
We sent it back, but it was, the idea was to make a bigger case, a stronger case.
Mhm.
And I just haven't had the time to do it.
Oh, okay.
What do you want to do, table that?
Yeah, table that until next month.
Okay.
I'm sorry, table of
Was
what?
The last item, 3F,
approved?
Oh.
I just haven't had the time
Oh,
to
you're
add.
jumping ahead. All right.
Okay,
Yeah.
hey, D,
Uh-huh.
also 3F is going to be tabled.
Right.
What are you doing, eavesdropping on us down there?
I hear everything.
What did I say?
Because I haven't had the time to add more argument to it.
Okay. We are formulating a committee report, memorializing resolution about the dance camera plant.
Right.
Now, instead of us sitting here for an hour formulating, there's a letter here from several legislators that we really like, however, it's not really in the form of a resolution, and we would have to strike their names. Now, there's a couple actually written out resolutions that we would have to change a lot for that, it looks like.
Okay.
Now, can we say memorializing resolution in opposition to the Dance Camera LLC permits for expansion of their blah, 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 as per the attached letter, and then it will be made into a resolution.
Can the resolution be in the form of this letter, or does it have to be in the whereas and therefores
I
form?
mean, this kind of sums up our reasons for doing so, but it's in a,
You can, it's a memorializing resolution, you can put it in whatever form you want to put it in. It's not legislation, it's not binding on anyone. So if it's formatted as a letter as opposed to a formal resolution, it doesn't really make a difference.
Doesn't
You can
matter.
also, draft something between now and, caucus on Monday night in the form of a resolution that combines those three documents.
what's your pleasure, gang?
I say just adopt the letter.
Okay, and we'll just cross out this, and we'll say,
Kingston
well, we
Common
really
Council.
don't even have to, it's not gonna be signed
And,
anyway.
the recipients of the document going to be less inclined to consider it because it's in the form of a letter rather than a resolution? No.
No.
Okay.
Thank you.
That's it?
You're dismissed.
I can go back. What's all?
Go where the real fun is.
Oh, yeah, you can have that back.
That's the Heritage Area Commission. They're getting a presentation on the Kingstonian.
Okay. Now we have a memorializing resolution opposing the Dance Camera LLC permits for the expansion to a year-round fracked gas and diesel burning power plant in Newburgh, New York, as per the attached correspondence. You still want to make that motion?
Yes.
And I will still second it.
Okay. All in favor?
Aye.
Aye. All opposed?
Aye.
Okay.
Or should I say nay?
There you go, sir.
So by our next meeting, the hope is that we'll have the analysis for all these things that we tabled. That's the
Well,
hope,
What
right?
I'm hoping, we'll have the forms and the aldermen can get the forms, so we'll be ready to act on all of these resolutions next month.
Right, but the forms will just be for submission of or making requests. But these that are already on the table, we need to have some action on these.
Right,
And-
May
go ahead.
may I make a suggestion? So our meeting is September 9th. If you want to reach out to John ahead of time, just to give him a little head start, he said he's more than happy to do that. So he just needed to be contacted through those. So if you are nervous about the timeline and you want it, and I know yours are handicap signs, which are more timely than stop signs. So you want to reach out to John, he could start that process now before it's online.
And since these are tabled items, so you don't have to submit a communication before the meeting.
Right,
We
just
just
want the
need, we just need to
analysis.
finish paperwork for the next public safety meeting.
right.
And I will let you know after that meeting what the time frame will be. So if I think it's gonna be another month before Kyle can get it up, I will let you know, definitely call John right now.
All right.
Okay, and I'll let the whole council know, so just in case there's more communications.
All right, sounds good. And with that, that is our
Move to
last
adjourn.
item. Whoa, I didn't even get the words out of my mouth, though.
I will
All right.
second that.
Anybody want to second that?
I will second that.
Anybody opposed to that? Okay, meeting adjourned.